kind of give an update on something we discussed last month, the trailer investigation that the board is going to move forward with. Let me turn it over to Mr. Sciarrillo, and he can kind of give us give the public a little bit of an update. I will say that the one thing that the board is looking for is, and something he mentioned, looking at the trailer issue from the first piece of paper that said trailer, cottage, whatever you want to call it, up until they were removed. So, Mr. Sciarrillo.
Thanks, Mr. Addonizio. So since in the 2.5, almost 3 months that we have been here as board attorneys, one of the issues that we continually hear about are the trailers at the temporary classrooms at Central School. And we recognize that before we came, Dr. CRAM did a report, directed by the Board of Education, did a report that left some open questions. I prepared an addendum to that report based upon my interview with Dr. CRAM. The board has continued to discuss this and has now authorized our office to go forward with a complete investigation of the trailers from the day that the first piece of paper that has the word trailers on it exists with the Board of Education up until the time, the day that they were removed and there was no longer any paper. So I know there are a number of people who are listening to this board meeting through the live stream. We are prepared to interview anyone who wants to be interviewed. And if you are someone who wants to be interviewed, if you are someone who thinks there are other people who should be interviewed, then I'm going to ask you to send us your name and your contact information. Our office has retained the services of a retired Ocean County prosecutor to assist us with this interview and with this review, with this audit. His name is Joseph Mackolin. He retired after a long, distinguished career with the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office. He has worked with us on other investigations, and he has agreed to work with us on this investigation. We are going to look at every piece of paper that the Board of Education possesses. We are going to go beyond the zip drive, the famous zip drive that we've heard about that has been turned over. There are at least one person in the public who has asked a series of questions about this whole process. I would ask you to submit your contact information to us, put your name on top of the list to be interviewed. We will start with you, and we will ask every question that needs to be asked. We will look at every piece of paper that needs to be looked at. We have told the Board of Education that we are prepared to issue a final report at the first board meeting in November. So we want to move this along as expeditiously as possible. We are going to begin this tomorrow. We are prepared to answer any question and speak to anyone. We want to put this discussion, close this discussion if we can, once and for all, good, bad, or indifferent. And so this Board of Education can move on to the educating students, which is what it's all about. So I just wanted to update the board. We will provide an update weekly that will be posted under facilities. I believe there's a facilities tab on the district's website. We will produce a weekly update so that members of the public can go to that tab, can scroll down on that tab, see the weekly update. If that weekly update prompts a question, an email address will be there. They can send that question email directly to us, and we will respond to that question. I don't have anything else at this moment, Mr. President, but I'll certainly answer any questions from the board.
Mr. Sciarrillo, if you could also, could you explain who you represent, who the board attorney represents? Because I think there's some confusion sometimes with the public. They don't fully understand the job of the board attorney and who they actually represent. So if you could just give a little background on that.
Sure. So our role as board attorney means that we represent the board as an entity and the district as an entity. We don't represent an individual board member, nor do we represent an administrator, any administrator or any administrators group. So we report to the Board of Education as an entity. We are retained by the Board of Education as an entity. We're responsible to the Board of Education as an entity. Let me ask the question that might be asked. Well, why is the board attorney doing this and why aren't we going outside? There isn't enough money in this state there's not enough at stake in this trailer investigation for us to do anything other than a complete and thorough investigation, answer all of the questions, answer the questions that come along the way, and provide all of the answers that we can provide based upon a first person review of every single piece of paper. No copies, no zip drives. I'm not in any way being disrespectful to anyone in the past, but we are going to put our names on this report. My firm is going to stand behind this report. We have done this before in other districts, and we're prepared to do it this time with the same efficiency, the same professionalism, and the same completeness, so that we can issue a report to the Board of Education as an entity that it could stand behind.
Thank you, Mr. Sciarrillo.
You're welcome.
And Mr. Sciarrillo, I would just add that your report and its thoroughness and its completeness, which I have faith in, is going to be a major step for the public to build trust in us as a Board of Education. And that's one of the major reasons that we're moving forward with this, to reassure the community of Central School and others of the faith of this board to get to the bottom of this situation. Thank you.
We understand our role.
With that, superintendent's updates. Dr. Handerhan.